Hello, everybody. Welcome to Supporting Students with IEPs, Modifying Electronic Content and Materials. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Ashley Thomas, and I am the Assistive Technology Specialist for Northampton School District. I've been in my position for the past 10 years. I work collaboratively between the Special Education and Technology Department. I am a Google Certified Educator Level 1, and I have also recently become a CAMI Certified Educator. Just a reminder that this session is being recorded so people can view it throughout the day as it is being offered in multiple sessions. I just wanted to start off today's session with a little bit of information for you guys to kind of think about as we go through the session. The real power of technology lies within the teacher's ability to customize and differentiate instruction through content, process, product, and environment according to the student's readiness, interest, and learning style. Technology can facilitate both using different content to teach the same subject to students with different needs, and to also enhance or augment existing content to make it accessible to all students. What we're mainly going to be focusing on during today's session is the content piece. So just some things to think about during the time that you are with me for this session. So if you have a special education student in a general education class and they need to have their materials or their content at a lower level or possibly the same level as the rest of the class, but maybe a reduced amount of information, there are tools out there to accomplish that. And I'm going to show you guys 2 of those today. These tools allow the students to participate and learn along with their classmates just by simply having the information modified. So if a student needs adaptive text to access grade level content, these tools are going to be able to help with that. Also, depending on the specific student's ability, they may be able to use the tools that I'm going to show you today on their own as well, but that shouldn't be expected because, again, it is the responsibility of the teacher to provide the modified materials, but it is definitely a good thing to teach them how to use so that they can become more independent, as they transition, since that's the ultimate goal. So just some basics here. We're going to explain, and I'm going to kind of give you some ideas. So if the content that your student needs is already in electronic format, just some things to think about as we go into the specific programs. So again, if the content is already in electronic format, all you guys need to do then is copy and paste that text into the program. As long as you can copy and paste, it'll do that. But if it's an inaccessible PDF, and what I mean by an inaccessible PDF is if you go to try to highlight on it and copy and paste, if it doesn't recognize that there is text in that document, that's what's considered an inaccessible PDF. If that happens to you, you can use CAMI and the OCR feature, optical character recognition. And then you can copy and paste that text into the program. If you have specific questions about the OCR feature in CAMI, let me know. I believe there's also some sessions that focus specifically on CAMI. So you might have already learned how to do something like that. Now, if the content that you have is currently on paper and your students need it to be modified, there's a couple different things that you guys can do to get that into electronic format. First one, you guys could type it up. So maybe it's a article or a chapter of a book, you guys could always type it. Another way that's a little easier and quicker, possibly, is you guys can use voice typing. So you basically could open up a Google Doc, use the Google voice typing feature, and sit there and speak whatever's on the piece of paper, and it's going to then, put it into text. Another way is you guys could scan in the paper document. Then you could use Cami, OCR it, and copy and paste it into the program. All of these things you can do fairly simply and quickly. And again, if you have specific questions about, well, I have this document and it's in this format or it's like this, let me know and I can spend some time kind of just giving you maybe a little more detailed steps on how to do that. All right, we're going to jump into the first program. And some of you guys, I've been explaining and kind of giving out basics about Rewordify in different, meetings and department meetings, throughout the past couple of years. But in today's session, we're really going to dive into Rewordify as a tool and go a little bit farther than, just explaining, oh, here's Rewordify, check it out if you want. Because it really is an amazing tool and it has a lot more to offer than what meets the eye. Also, what's really cool about this is it is completely free. It's web-based. You don't have to, download any software or add an extension or anything like that. So over here on the left of my screen is just, that's what the Rewordify website looks like. And throughout the slide presentation, which you guys can get a copy of from the EdCamp schedule, it's linked under each one of my sessions. Throughout the slideshow, there are a bunch of different areas that are hyperlinked that you can click on. So anywhere, if you see my cursor's normal right now with just the arrow, if you go into your slides presentation when you have your copy, if you hover over things in the view or the present mode, as you see now, I have the little hand with the pointer. Those are hyperlinks. You can click on it. It's going to take you to more information so that you guys can learn more about, the program without jam-packing the slideshow with information. So couple things about Rewordify. The Rewordify website, it helps with reading comprehension and vocabulary development. And it does that by simplifying English to a lower reading level. It lets you reword a sentence or reword a paragraph. You can reword more than a paragraph. It's just kind of giving you an idea. It simplifies English by reducing the text complexity. So it takes those harder words, such as an example I like to use is the word hearth. It's going to change the word hearth and it's going to say fireplace. Again, obviously, I know a lot of those harder words are obviously important for your students to know, whether in the context of the story. What's nice about Rewordify, again, is it doesn't make those words just go away. There is, as the next little bullet point mentions, it's a dictionary alternative that will improve comprehension and teach vocabulary. What you can do is, which I'm going to hit on in a little bit, you can actually create a Rewordify account for your students if you want, where you can have them practice the vocabulary. You can do, different little quizzes and whatnot, so that they will have the opportunity to learn and practice that, okay, hearth means fireplace, but in the greater scheme of things, replacing the word with fireplace is probably going to allow them to understand the context of the overall story instead of having to focus on what is that one word. You can also take the vocabulary activities and export them out of Rewordify and put them into, make it an activity and assign it through Schoology or Google Classroom if you didn't want to create student accounts. It's also an important part of reading instruction and vocabulary instruction for ESL students, people with reading disabilities, people with a learning disability, or essentially anyone who wants to improve their reading skills. One thing I did want to also hit on for, the importance and the great features of Rewordify is using this tool. It allows struggling readers to complete the same literature at a more appropriate level. It's giving our students, the tools and content at the level where they're going to be successful and not get frustrated or upset, actually set them up for success. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to show you the whole Rewordify process. First step is creating a Rewordify account. You don't have to create an account. If you don't want to, you can easily jump on the website, grab whatever text you want to Rewordify, put it in there, let it do its thing, and then, put the information wherever you need it. However, I recommend that you do create a Rewordify account, because what's nice about having an account is your documents that you have Rewordified are going to save for you. So it's nice to be able to go back, because maybe, next year you might have another student who needs their documents at a modified level. You won't have to then spend your time doing something you've already done, because we know time is precious and very limited. So by creating a Rewordify account, you're going to be able to do your documents once, save them. And what's also nice is if, maybe a lot of kids in your class are struggling with certain passages or certain chapters, you can work as a team with other teachers and Rewordify that stuff, and you can actually share the Rewordified content with them. An important thing to note, though, copyright. So if you are putting material out there or Rewordifying material that is, copyrighted, say we purchased a textbook, and obviously that's not free for everybody out in the world, because they didn't purchase the rights to that. What you're going to want to do is you're not going to want to post that copyrighted content within a public document. Once you create an account, if you want to save documents, you have the option to share it publicly for the whole Rewordify community, or you can, share it privately, and only people who have the link can access it. So if your content is copyrighted, you're going to want to keep it within, the NASD, network, so that only our teachers and our students can share that. So again, that's just, a little bit of information to make sure that you're not violating copyright. In here too, there is a little brief video that I created to kind of just walk you through creating a Rewordify account. Super simple, literally takes a couple seconds. So what I'll do is I'll go over to the website quick and show you. And also, again, you'll have this slide presentation where you guys can go back and access it whenever you need it. All right. So this is the Rewordify website. And again, since I've already created an account, it's not going to let me do it again, but very easy to navigate. You'll just go to register safely right up here where my mouse is. Click on that, follow these directions that are in my video. And again, if you have questions about certain things, they have the little question marks that give you more information. And they have their COPA compliance statement and their privacy statements. If you plan to have your students get Rewordify accounts. For you guys, as I mentioned in the video that I did make for the account creation, for staff, I recommend when you create your account that you use your email address. Your students are able to create an account with like an anonymous email, and they'll it's not going to take any personal information from them, but they'll still be able to access it with the username and password that the site generates. So again, once you've done your account registration, in the future, all you'll have to do is go to log in. And then what you're going to be able to do is put in your login information, and then you log into the website. It's going to take you to kind of like your little portal. It's called My Learning / My Documents. And this is going to just be, it's going to give you a bunch of different history. The My Learning and My Documents section right here is geared more towards students. So if you assign something to your students through Rewordify, they can practice learning the words. They can, do all sorts of really cool stuff. And it's going to show it right here. History is going to show every text block you've wordified, but you haven't shared yet. So again, I've done a couple different, test things, and those are my Rewordified documents. If I go into documents, this is one that I've created some type of share access for. And again, I have it set to, this is not public, it would say public. I have it set to only the people that I share the link with are the ones who can access it. And then there's a section on books here. You can essentially create books. And what that is, as it mentions, is you can group related documents together. So again, it puts the information in one easy spot for them to access. So if you are doing a unit on anatomy with your students, or maybe the different types of weather, what you'll be able to do is if you rewordify multiple documents, you're able to kind of turn them into a book so that that's shared with them instead of 5 rewordify documents with separate links. And then an account control, basically, again, that's just change password. Or if you ever wanted to, you could delete your account completely. So that's super simple. Again, very user-friendly. It's not overly visually crowded. You can kind of know where you're at when you're using the Rewordify program. I'm going to go back here. A couple other benefits of registering for a Rewordify account versus just, popping onto the website and, rewordifying a document and then grabbing it and closing out of the website. You can create public documents that can be searched and read by anyone. Again, as long as you're not violating copyright. You can create link-only documents. Again, like I said, they don't show up in the search, but are available to anybody with the secret link. Or again, like I said, you could still copy and paste your information back out to say, a Google Doc or, whatever you want to do with it. You don't have to utilize it within the Rewordify site if you don't want to. You can also go a step further with the link-only documents, and you can create password-protected documents. Those require a link and a password to view. And then again, we had mentioned about the books. The readers can conveniently navigate through them via a table of contents. And then again, having an account allows you to view, modify, and delete all of your documents and books in one convenient place. This chart came directly from their website. They have so many helpful little pages of information. So I wanted to kind of put this in here for you guys so that you can see it explains the features. It breaks down each feature that it has, the benefit of the feature, and then how to get it on their website. So there's a whole bunch of different things here. And there's even more on the next page. We're going to go back over to the website because I want to show you guys. We're going to go back to public documents. So what's really cool too is, again, other people have uploaded and made public some of the documents that they have rewordified. I always recommend checking here. There could possibly be a document that somebody else has already done. So again, save you time. And there's also, so that's public documents. And then under classic literature, there is a bunch of, I think the page changed, yes. A bunch of the classic literature style books that are there as well that you can go through. You can browse by title or author for both the classic literature and the public documents. And we'll get into that a little bit more then. Again, Rewordify is great for teamwork. You can share documents you've rewordified with other NASD teachers. I think it was last year, but it might have been 2 years now. Time is just a blur anymore. I worked with a team of teachers at the middle school. I believe it was in the reading department. There were a lot of the students who were struggling with the material that they needed to read. So what I did is I met with them and they took a bunch of their, and I could be wrong with what I'm saying, I believe it was their TDAs. I'm not sure, but they took whatever they had to read, and the teachers split them up. And if they were available electronically, again, they were able to copy and paste. And if they weren't, they typed them in there, and again, shared them with each other. They made, I believe it was, a Google Drive, a shared Google Drive folder so that everybody on the team who needed them could access them. So, we didn't have to have one teacher do it and then the other teacher have, the same need and then they do it as well, because there's no point in doing it over and over if, it can be shared with everybody. So, and once you do Rewordify, I put a screenshot here again. It shows you the different settings you can do with your Rewordify document. Again, public goes out, basically anybody on the site can see it. Link only is probably good enough for what you guys want to do. And that's, again, only if you're going to be sharing it on the, through the Rewordify. So if you share the Rewordify link, it's when the person clicks on it, it's going to go to the Rewordify page with the document. Again, just a little recap, browse the public documents, take advantage of them to see if what you're looking for is already available. And it's a great place to add documents for others to use as well. Again, public doesn't just mean anybody in NASD. It basically means, anybody on the internet searching on the Rewordify website. Creating and managing Rewordify documents. Very simple to do, and I'm going to show you guys one from start to finish here in a second. Here's another video. This one came directly from Rewordify. I think it's about 9 minutes long. So again, you have it if you need it. you can always come back, save it, and watch parts of it that you find relevant to what you're doing. So what we're going to do now, I'll show you how to do a document and show you what it looks like. All right, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to just click right here on the R. Takes me right back to the main page. I'm going to grab, for the first one, what I'm going to do is I pulled up a science article. And again, it most likely has some, some words that are not common for students. So we're going to go here. I'm just going to copy part of it. I'm going to copy, and I'm just going to paste it on in here. So again, it pasted everything. It put everything I've copied and pasted. And then what you're able to do is right here where it says rewordify text. It's going to go ahead and it's going to do its work. So the way that I have mine set up, and again, you can customize the way you want your rewordified text to look. So any word that's highlighted was rewordified or changed because it was considered, difficult English. So extreme heat used to be, if we click on it, blistering heat. So again, it changed the word blistering, which might be unfamiliar to some, to a more known word. Let's see, it also changed, let's try weather, climates. And again, what's nice is you can press, if your students are doing this, they can press and hear the word.
Climates.
They can hear the word. Ignore the live caption that popped up. That's just an accessibility feature I'm testing. We'll click back on here again. We could have the student click the plus sign to add this word later so that they can come back and learn more about the word. And again, here was our original text. We'll scroll back up. If we go to stats, this is going to be the next thing we're going to discuss. So we'll come back to that. Right here is the share option. And again, it just gives you a little reminder that, again, if you are going to share this with other people, whether it be publicly or, even with your own team or your students, just make sure that spelling's correct, check for spacing between paragraphs. Sometimes when you copy and paste things, the formatting might get a little messed up. So you obviously want to make sure that you're sharing, a document that is overall grammatically correct spelling, and, doesn't have weird spacing between the words and the lines. And here is where you can choose public, link only, password protected. You want to make sure you give it a title. You can, if there's an author or the author, you can put that here. That's optional. And then again, a description, that's just helpful, if you come back and search for it, or whatnot. And then save document and get sharing link. That's all you have to do there. So we'll go ahead and do that. Science example. I'm going to put mine to link only. Oops. Science example. Save documenting. And then again, here's my sharing link. Say all of a sudden I do this really quick one day and I get distracted, and if I have to come back, again, everything is going to be saved once you do that under My Learning and Documents. Print and learning activities. This gives you plenty of different options with the rewordified text. And then you can do, again, any words that changed are considered vocabulary words. So you can save vocabulary lists with or without definitions. You can do quizzes on the vocabulary words, a whole bunch of different stuff. So I think that's awesome because, again, I know time is limited. So Rewordify can do that for you. And then you can use those activities or quizzes, again, in Google Classroom, Schoology, wherever you want to use them with your students. And then again, parts of speech. This is just interesting. It kind of goes through and shows you the different parts of speech for all of your text. You can, again, there's a advanced view, which to me is very confusing. But again, there's just a bunch of different neat features in there. So what we're going to do now, so we rewordified that text, and it did tell us that there were 11 hard words. But more interestingly, we're going to go. Basically, for every rewordified passage, there is a read score that Rewordify gives with some of the passage statistics. So the read score is the Rewordify estimated average difficulty score. And it does that for the original and rewordified versions of the text. This essentially helps writers and educators who need a valid complexity measure of the text passage. So it's trying to give you, a little bit more information of, what level that it's at now. Okay, so I'm going to pull that back up. We're going to go back to our Rewordify passage. We're going to go back to stats. So right here for our original text analysis, it has our read score. And again, you can get more information about all of that for each passage by clicking on the information. So it gives us our read score. It also gives you the Flesch reading ease and the Flesch Kincaid grade level. And again, a whole bunch of different other little statistics, total word count, unique word count, all these different things. And then it will tell you down here the rewordified words and phrases. So 11 of our words were rewordified or simplified. So that's also a really neat little feature to look at as you're rewordifying your documents. We're going to go back here. And here's just another example. This is actually something that I got off of the public Rewordify. I grabbed an article that somebody had already done. And here was the original text. And then here was the rewordified text. And then if we go to the next slide, again, here's the read score information for that passage. And over here, this came directly from the Rewordify website as well. And it tells you kind of how the read score is calculated. If that's something that you guys want to learn more about, you can gladly read through that. And this actually got a little more advanced from the couple previous trainings that I did. Again, my previous trainings were just kind of surface level. Here's Rewordify, this is what it does. But so I'm not sure if this would be useful for you guys in terms of, the score and the levels, but it is available. Now, this is available to you if you have created an account. If you're just logging on to do it, you don't have access to that. Also within, if you create a Rewordify account, there's an Educator Central. What you're able to do here is you can create and manage student accounts, view details about their progress if you are having them use Rewordify. And again, all of these different hyperlinks, some are highlighted, underlined in blue, and then other ones, again, as long as you hover your mouse over it, and it has the little pointer finger, you're able to click on that. It gives you more resources. Okay, I'll give you a quick peek of that since I'm signed into my Rewordify account. Again, we have the My Learning and Documents, and it's right to the left of that, Educator Central. Again, right here, I was just, playing around with it and kind of testing it. You can create your student accounts here. You can add students. You can assign them things. And if you're having them, learn and practice vocabulary, it's going to create a bunch of different charts and reports for you about their progress and what they're doing. So that's just the Educator Central area of Rewordify. Again, another little screenshot. This is of my Educator Central. So that was Rewordify. If you have any specific questions as you're going through and creating a Rewordify account and kind of learning, the ins and outs of it, don't hesitate to contact me. You can also, they have a demo. So if you click on demo, it's going to kind of walk you through kind of just like tutorials when you get a new software program or an app. They give you like a little tutorial so you can do the demo. Also under help, they have a ton of different resources here that you guys can check out. Super easy to get to. Again, up where there's help. The settings, before we get to our new tool, I just want to show you the settings. Let's see if it's going to go. I don't think it's going. You're able to also, and I think it is in the settings, but it's being a little stubborn right now. In settings, you're able to kind of pick the Rewordify level. There's a couple different levels. So if you want your passages to be, highly Rewordified to, slightly or almost no, rewordifying, you're able to specify which way you want it to be. Oh, here we go. So I clicked on settings, and here's where you can specify what you want. Display mode, so how you want your Rewordified passage to look. There's a bunch of different options. And as you see, it changes, so it kind of shows you what it's looking like. The rewordifying level, this is, again, obviously you guys need to decide what's most appropriate for the student or students that you're using it for. It goes all the way from easiest to hardest. And again, it's going to tell you for each one up here with the sample output, it is going to kind of give you a little bit of an example. And also there's more information here about letting you choose what rewordifying level is best. We're going to close that. And again, you can pick your highlighting mode. You can pick the color. You could have it underlined, or you can do nothing. So, and then again, after you make your changes, you're just going to want to hit save and close. Okay, so I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to with Rewordify. I'm going to go back here. The next tool is called Summary, SMMRY. Because again, we're summarizing and, we're still getting our main point, but we're condensing. Summary is also another completely free web-based tool. Very basic in its appearance, but it does a great job in what it does. Now you can use this in conjunction with Rewordify. So again, if you are changing, if you're simplifying a passage for a student, and maybe they also need that passage summarized with only the key points, you can then take that passage and put it into Summary. And again, it's going to condense. So, maybe you have something with 20 sentences, but you want it summarized into, it defaults to 7 sentences, but you can change it. And again, it's going to summarize the 20 sentences down to 7 sentences. Again, or if you just have a student that maybe doesn't need things rewordified, maybe just summarized and, reduced in the amount that they need to read, you can use Summary. This is also, again, like I said, this is something a student can use. They could easily take, something they need to read and summarize it themselves. It basically, essentially just provides an efficient manner of understanding text. And it's primarily done by reducing the text to only the important sentences. And I know that hurts a lot of teachers' ears when I say that, because obviously everything is important. But again, depending on what the focus is, using summary or another type of summarizing tool might be most appropriate for your student. So we're going to go over to the summary website. And again, like I said, it's right here, smmry.com. It's also linked in the presentation. So what I'm going to do is, this is it. This is what it looks like. There are different ways for you to put your documents in here. You can upload you can do a PDF, you can do a text file, or you can insert a web URL. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our same science article, just going to grab that URL, and then I'm going to paste it right where it said paste URL. And then again, over here to the left, I could have uploaded a file, so wherever I had it, or again, I can paste my text right here in this bigger box. So I pasted my website right here. We don't need to hit go to URL because that's going to take us to the page. What we're going to do is we're going to hit summarize. We're going to give it a second to do its thing. And again, that article is pretty lengthy. I had only taken, can't speak today. I grabbed, again, just the first couple little chunks of it. But again, it goes pretty far down. So it's a much longer article. So we'll go back and see. So we took this very long article and we have summarized it in 7 sentences. And what it does is towards the bottom here, it's going to say it reduced the size of the article by 93%, 871 characters. So here we have our summarized article on changing climates. It's right here for your students. And there's an algorithm that summary uses, and I'll go and explain that to you guys in a second, because you're probably like, well, how do they know what's important? They're not just doing it randomly. So let's go back here, show you that. Again, summary was created to summarize articles and texts, and their mission is to provide an efficient manner of understanding text. And they primarily do that by reducing the text to only the important sentences. They rank their sentences by importance using a core algorithm. They reorganize the summary to focus on a topic by selection of a keyword, the removal of transition phrases, removing unnecessarily clauses, and then also removing excessive examples. And then down here, it kind of just gives you the core algorithm that summarizes in 7 simple steps. So again, if you kind of want to understand it a little more, you can go ahead and, look over that information. I'm going to go back here. And also before you summarize, oops, that's Rewordify. Before you summarize, or even after, we have right here where it says settings in the yellow button, you can check off some of these boxes if you want to change the settings. And again, it kind of right here where the question mark is, it kind of tells you what each setting does if it's selected. And then what you can do, again, if we're done with this summary, we can go back here and it's going to take us to a blank one. I also want to show you how it works with PDFs. So I'm just going to grab, I went to 7th grade nonfiction passages. We're going to go to this one on today's telephone. And again, we essentially could copy this URL if we wanted to, but say that you already had this PDF saved to your computer. So I'm going to save this to my computer real quick to show you guys how that works. I'm going to go to desktop. Okay. So I'm going to grab that quickly. See where it is. Okay. Not going to show you my desktop because it is quite the mess right now. And I normally like to have a nice clean desktop. Okay, so we're going to go back to summary. So right here for upload a file, we click on that. And then we're going to find our thing. Okay. And it's going to do the same thing it did with our URL. Okay, so it's purple now. So it has processed our document. So we're going to hit summarize. I'm going to give it a second. Okay, so for this one, it reduced our overall text by 78%. And it right here is our summary. And also, what you can do is there's this little checkbox here. You can save something as well, but you need to create an account. Super easy, just like it was for Rewordify. So I'm going to go ahead. I don't believe I've actually created a summary account before. I haven't seen this before. Or maybe I have because somebody has my username. Let's see. Sometimes I have accounts to so many things I forget. All right, we're going to verify we're not a robot. We're going to register. Okay. Ooh, look at that. It says I completed the registration form in 32 seconds and the average time is 236 seconds. 263 seconds. Okay. So now, again, I have the option to save it. So again, I don't have to come back and, keep summarizing the same passage over and over. I'm not exactly sure because, like I said, I do not recall it having the login feature before. I'm not quite sure how to get back to what I saved. So if you guys, oh, it's right here. It's right down here. Shows that I'm logged in. But I'm not quite sure necessarily where I retrieve my stuff. So if you guys have an interest in that feature, let me know and I will do a little bit more digging around for that. All right. So again, Rewordify and Summary are two completely free web-based tools that are really great for modifying the content so that your student has what they need on their level. But the next step that I think is important is getting that content and putting it where everybody else is expected to access their assignments and, do quizzes and, putting it into that learning management system so that they go about accessing their education the same way as everybody else. And it makes it a lot easier on you and also, the students and the parents, because a lot of the times the directions you're going to give out for things are going to, be the thing that everybody else is doing. So I'm going to show you here. I have some links here on how to individually assign materials, again, in the learning management system that you're using depending on your grade level. So for our lower grades, I believe it's K-2. You guys use Google Classroom, and then I believe 3-5 is Schoology. So in Schoology, you have the option to, you can individually assign course materials, or you can also, now this is a little bit newer, you can individually assign folders within Schoology. So again, if you have one or maybe more students out of your class who need, maybe the same modified material or different, again, you can create the individual course materials or folders. And again, that's only going to show up for those students you assign it to. And again, the rest of your class, you can do, you can assign it to those individuals. You can do the same thing in Google Classroom. You can individually assign materials. Each of these underlined things go to links on how to do that if you do not know how to do it. And then down here is a little video that's directly from Google about, individually assigning materials and being able to provide that differentiation within Google Classroom, which is really great. For Google Classroom, you're able to individually assign assignments. You can also do it for questions and announcement posts, which I think is really great because you're able to, be a little bit more individualized, and maybe you need to make a post or a reminder for, for Johnny. It's only going to go to him. You're not going to single anybody else out, but you schedule it and post it the same way you would for the rest of your class. So that's how you can individually assign. And what's nice about this, again, if you are the gen ed teacher, you can go ahead and do this. If the special ed teacher, maybe she or he was the one who modified the materials in Rewordify and sent it or shared it with you, you can go in and do this. Or if your co-teacher, your special education teacher, if you've made them a co-teacher in your class, they can go ahead and do this for you. Teamwork, whatever you guys decide works for you. Again, same with, actually using the Rewordify or the summary. If you want to do that, you can. If your co-teacher wants to do that, they can. However you guys decide to kind of divvy up the responsibility and who does what. But I do think it's important that you guys have, a discussion about it and kind of see, what steps do you want to take and who's going to be responsible for what. I want to leave you guys with another thing to consider. If you have a student who maybe, again, doesn't need their, that's the wrong slide. Hold on. Let me see. Let me go back one. I think I missed one. Or maybe it's the one after. But okay, regardless. So you can take this a step further. So if you've rewordified and or use summary or a combination of one or both, you can also have your students use text-to-speech to then have that information read aloud to them. Or again, if maybe you didn't need to use Rewordify or summary, they might have stronger auditory comprehension skills. And maybe they might not need as much modifying if they can just actually, listen to what they need to read. Again, it all depends on your student and, their learning styles. But if they do need to have the information read aloud to them, they can use the Select to Speak Chromebook accessibility feature to do so. Again, as long as they can select that text and it's not an image, they can use that. And again, also the Cami text-to-speech feature, if they're using Cami, they can do that as well. So again, there's a whole bunch of different ways that, somebody can accomplish something. It just basically, it depends on the learning style and what tool or combination of tools works for the individual. I want to leave you guys with a few additional resources. These are all clickable links. I have my assistive technology Google site linked here. It has a variety of technology resources to help all learners. I'm on Twitter. If you click here, you can follow me on Twitter. I try to tweet or retweet a bunch of posts that are, again, tech related to all learners. I also have a Wakelet that I have taken my extensive collection of bookmarks that were just sitting around collecting electronic dust, so that they actually could be of use for other people. And they're categorized in a bunch of different topics for you guys to, easily find what you're looking for. And a last reminder that our session for today is over, but if you can please complete the attendance sheet, which I've linked right here, and it's also linked on the computer that my Bitmoji is holding up right on the screen. You can click there. Fill out your attendance sheet to record your participation for the session. And as always, if you guys have questions or want to discuss something further, or you have other questions about, maybe something that I mentioned in this session but didn't specifically go over, you're always welcome to email me. My email address is at the bottom. It just got covered. There we go. Covered again. But yeah, please reach out. Feel free. I'm always willing to, go over and review something or, get you guys some additional resources if you need it. I hope you enjoyed the session today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.